Hi, my name is Alone, and I'll show you how to create a cave in the intensity engine. So I'm in the engine right now, can move around. So first let me just put the menu away, we don't need that. I enter edit mode by pressing the E key, E for edit, and then I can fly away from the ground to a very high spot. And then if I press and keep press the control key, then using the mouse wheel I can bring up areas on the ground. It's a little bit hard to see now because there isn't any lighting to give you hints about what's higher and what's lower. But if I leave edit mode so I fall back to the ground, you can see that indeed there's an area that I've raised. So let's perhaps create a light to make it clearer what's going on here. So I do insert light, put it on the ground here. I want it to be high up though. Let's bring it all the way up here and give it a radius of 0, which stands for infinite radius, so it'll cast light to an infinite distance. Now let's calculate lighting. This is done by ray tracing, so it's not in real time, it needs to be done explicitly. And you can see now that this raised area is darker on the far side and lighter on this side. So it isn't, it sort of has rough edges which I could smooth out, but I won't focus on that right now. Let's create a cave in this area. So basically I just select an area with cubes, like so, using the mouse and the mouse button, and then using the mouse wheel I just push into the actual mountain that I've created. So the mouse wheel just opens up areas. Just select an area and press. Okay, let's see what we have here. So I can walk into the area that I've created. Let's calculate lighting again, because every time I change the geometry, obviously lighting changes. So now you can see that there's this opening in the mountain that I can walk into. It's a little bit dark. So maybe let's add another light, this time the ceiling of this cave. So let's bring it a little bit lower than the ceiling and make it, say, red. So give it 200 for the red component. We calculate the lighting. We see now that it's much better lit and it has a slightly red flavor to it. So what I've done so far I can continue to do. I can go a little bit more into the mountain, and I can also open up an area on the floor, so I can successively select and bring down areas and then sort of create a stairway into the mountain. Piece by piece. Now again, for convenience, let's calculate the lighting. Okay, now you can see there's this mountain that I've created, or hill. It's a small mountain, and I can sort of walk down into the area that I've made. It's pretty cramped, so I can of course open it up. Just using the same process. A little bit hard to see because it's such a small space, but you get used to it. So here I've opened it up so much you can see the sky through it. I can of course fix that by going outside. But in any case, these same principles, I can create tunnels. I can also add more lights wherever it seems appropriate to do so, and so forth. Finally, let me just jump out of this area that I've created for one final look. Let's do it in high quality. So it takes a few seconds. Again, this is ray tracing. Leaving edit mode, and you can see we have this odd looking hill, and we can walk inside. Here it gets quite dark, but there is the opening from the outside that lets in a little light, as you can see here. And that's it. As you can see, it's very easy to create geometry of this sort. You can do a lot more. I've just touched on the basics, but these principles should be enough to give you an idea of how fun it is to create scenes in the intensity engine.